Hey guys, it's me, SillySquirtle Gaming. And today in this video, I'm going to be going over all of the forgotten POIs of Fortnite. Now, point of interests, or POIs, are just places you go in Fortnite. You already know this, why am I even explaining it? But the thing is, Fortnite has a lot of POIs. And I mean, a lot. They basically just rotate in and out every season. Some of them come back, some of them don't. And there are a lot of these POIs that nobody even remembers because they were only in the game for like a season. So I'm going to be going back in time just to see what some of these POIs were like, if they were actually any good or not. Now before I start this video, I just want to give a quick shout out to Ty Fries. He makes pretty good content and he inspired this video. I recommend checking out some of his videos. Thank you. Now, let's begin with Grim Gables. What a location to start off with. Introduced in Chapter 3, Season 4, this location came with the Fortnitemares update in 2022. And fun fact, it is the first and only time that we have ever gotten a new Fortnitemares POI. Wonder why they've never done it again. Anyways, Grim Gable was a giant castle surrounded by a graveyard and a farm. Not too much going on there, but there were some things about this POI that actually made it pretty unique, you know? Because not only in the Fortnitemares update, there was this cool filter, which technically would classify it as a rift zone, but in the Fortnitemares update only, this POI was actually guarded by the Inquisitor, and there were some zombie guards that you also had to kill. From what I remember, it was actually pretty hard to kill the Inquisitor because all she did was fucking spam rockets. But if you did somehow kill her, then she actually gave you the Mythic Suppressed SMG, which, from what I remember, was actually pretty busted. Oh no, I only used it like once and I'm showing that footage right now. It kinda sucks that this location is so forgotten about. It was honestly one of my favorites in Chapter 3, Season 4. At least after all the... because I like to rotate over to the hut after looting and get myself the exotic sniper, which also was pretty good. Overall, Grim Gables was actually pretty solid. Just kinda sucks it was stranded on one of the worst rated seasons of all time. Number 2 is gonna be Knotty Nets. This is more of a recent one, being in Chapter 4, but to be honest, I still feel like it needs to be here anyways. It was introduced in Chapter 4 Season 2, and it stayed all the way until Chapter 4 OG, so it was in the game for 3 seasons. So you might be like, oh SillySquirtle, this isn't forgettable, I remember this location, but... real quickly, show of hands, who actually landed here in Chapter 4 while I was in the game? No? No any takers? Yeah, exactly. This location was honestly pretty bad. I never saw myself really landing there. In my opinion, it feels like they made up this location on the fly because they needed some new locations for the new season. In fact, I don't even have enough footage of me playing in this location for this video. That's why I have Typical Gamer on the screen right now. The location being as small as it is, I don't think it really warranted this being a named location, as well as the fact that the other named locations in the season were way better, like Mega City and Kenjutsu Crossing. Taking all this into account, it's pretty easy to see why this location is as forgotten as it is. There really is not much else I could say about this location. It was just really bad. Number 3, Neo Butter Barn / Flutter Barn. Now, I'm not exactly sure what to do with this POI, because technically Neo Butter Barn wasn't named, it was just under the Chapter 3, Season 3 Bloom thing, but the season after it was renamed to Flutter Barn, which is basically just the same thing but Chrome. Just for convenience sake, I'm just gonna make an exception this one time and put both Neo Butter Barn and Flutter Barn as the same location. Though please note, this is probably gonna be more focused on Flutter Barn since it was actually named, but these were practically the same. Neo Butter Barn, and I'm just gonna say NBB for short, was actually a pretty cool location. It was all elevated in the sky, which honestly made it more annoying to get into. But I thought the POI idea was pretty cool, and just like another location on this list, during the first week of it being released, it was able to switch through 3 separate locations. There was the normal Neo Butter Barn, there was a Coral Castle variant, and there was a Chapter 2 Season 5 Coliseum one. But considering the fact that both Coral Castle and the Coliseum were both very disliked locations during their time in the season, I don't think it really helped its case in being exactly memorable. This location was always a little weird to me. It was just a single hotel. I honestly don't know if this should have been named in the first place. But I'm not actually going to count this as being inside Flutter Barn, but a quick shout out to the Wild West buildings that were behind it. Always was a good rotation spot. Number 4, Holly Hatchery. This POI was introduced in Chapter 2, Season 7, and it was when Holly Hedges was overrun by aliens and turned into Holly Hatchery. And with it, it got a whole new layout with new decorations and aliens scattered all over it. The entire location also had the alien biome, which meant you could jump around in basically zero gravity, and I remember you being able to build in the air in the alien biome, so that's a feature I guess. I feel like this location is forgotten because there wasn't really much to it. It was just Holly Hedges, the location we all know and love from Chapter 2, just slapped with a new coat of paint over it. I'm looking at the Fortnite wiki right now, and there's basically nothing about this location in the trivia section. The location was only in the game for about 2 months until it reverted back to Holly Hedges in Chapter 2, Season 8, so I guess that's worth mentioning. Number 5, once again I'm just gonna mesh 2 locations into one spot because they were practically the same thing and both pretty forgettable. And so we have Logjam Lotus and Logjam Junction. LL replaced Logjam Lumberyard from Chapter 3, Season 1, which I did a 20 drops on, go watch it. And Logjam Junction replaced that about 3 updates later. Like Neo Butter Barn, which is earlier on this list, Logjam Lotus actually had variants that were able to be swapped every single match. There was the Coliseum, there's a Lazy Lagoon variant, and there's a Tilted Town one. Although, unlike Neo Butter Barn, this location actually felt and played a lot better since it was much larger and felt like it improved upon what Logjam Lumberyard was. It felt like what Neo Butter Barn should have been, and it actually had cooler variants than just Coral Castle. And Logjam Junction isn't too interesting either, it's basically just what Flutter Barn was in Chapter 3, Season 4. It's easy to see why people forgot about this location though. I never really found myself landing here, because Logjam Lotus was only in the game for about 70 days, and interestingly enough, Logjam Junction was only in the game for about 40 days, being removed in Chapter 3 Season 4, which would make it the second shortest lived location aside from Starry Suburbs, but everyone knows about that, so I'm not adding it here. Okay, so the 6th and final location we're going to be going over is Synapse Station. It's going to be one that I genuinely forgot was in the game until I checked the Fortnite wiki and saw it in the list of locations. It was introduced in Chapter 3 Season 2 and stayed until the Fracture event. I think it was supposed to be the 7th hideout for the War season where they were fighting Sloan and all the other stuff, but then after that season ended, I think Epic Games just didn't know what to do. It is supposedly where the scientists made all those machines, and honestly it was a decent location with some decent loot, but again, very, very forgettable. Probably because Epic Games did literally nothing with it, and I mean nothing. This location changed like 0 times throughout the chapter. There's nothing really even to talk about. Even on the Fortnite wiki it just talks about how it was destroyed in Fracture. Aside from some story quests, I never really landed here, and I don't think anyone else did either. It was on the edge of the map, further away from other locations in Season 2, and every time I did land here, I just got like 3 bot kills and rifted out of there. I will actually give this location a point because it is one of the only locations in Chapter 3 that actually had rifts that you could take and fly to the other locations, which I think is a plus because there weren't really cars around that area and it was so far away you had to walk miles just to get to the nearest POI. And that is me revisiting some of the most forgotten Fortnite POIs of all time. If you liked it, then please drop a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And if you want me to make a part 2 with some POIs that I forgot to put in this video, then please comment down below. I'm open to feedback of any kind. Once again, thank you Ty Fries for inspiring me to make this video. He makes great content. I would definitely recommend go subscribing to his channel. And if you want me to make more commentary videos in the future, then please comment some topics you want me to cover. And yes, I will be trying to upload more regularly. Cough, new gameplay video in like the next week. Yes! Anyways, that's it for the video. I guess I'll be seeing you now, and I'll see you guys next time. Squirtle on! Aside from story quests, aside from some